do claims.
You did it.
Is there any way to
I remember you saying.
I tried to switch the
It is 5 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. If you would stand. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. I understand we have some students that are going to help us with our pledge tonight. You can step up, if you would. It's a cooperative effort from some school.
Big brother will help them out. Okay, ready, guys? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Thank you. Great job. Okay. Roll call. Mr. Williams is out tonight, as well as Mr. Heater. I am present. Mrs. Bales. Mrs. Barnes Griffin.
Present.
Mr. Irvin.
present.
Mr. Lowe.
Present.
Thank you very much. All right. Mr. Paget.
Up?
You are up.
My wife will be happy about that. All right. I had my presentation all printed out with my notes and set it down to explain a lift and left my folder there. But I've got that and some notes. I'll start out. I got two of my players here, two seniors, Trenton French and Titus Waters. If we could give them both a round of applause. Definitely two of the better athletes in our high school, but more than athletes, they're great leaders and they represent our school well. And what they did on the football field this year was amazing. But I'm most impressed with what they do off the field. Trent just signed to go play football at Indiana Wesleyan. He's one of the 3 quarterbacks in their recruiting class, and I know the competitor he is. He's already told me that'll be his spot soon. And then we all know what Titus just did in wrestling. And Titus, just before we got started, informed me that he's going to wrestle in college. So I'm beating off the college football coaches because they're all calling me after watching this wrestling season. I still think we might have a chance to talk you out of that. But I'm going to get to their part, but I'm going to make you stand here awkwardly with me until I get there. Let's see, which button do I hit? The green one?
One of the arrows.
Oh, there we go. That makes sense, right? That was Joey Olam on the cover there. I'm actually starting with strength and conditioning. I have these two sitting here because they're a big part of our strength and conditioning program, and I think they show what can happen when you fully buy into it. Coach Miller was going to be here with me tonight, but it's his wife's birthday, and he opted to not be here. Coincidentally, it's my 2-year-old's birthday, who, if you recall, when I got hired last year around the same time, was wreaking havoc. He's 2 now. But we want to talk about we're doing strength conditioning. We're doing some really cool, neat things. We got our program vertically aligned, and we're talking all the way down to where kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade are running our warm-ups, working on the things we're doing. We've been meeting with our middle school teachers. We're starting the middle schools are coming over and lifting with us, and we're also starting a 0 block with them where they're lifting before school. So we have an after school and before school program for our middle school athletes. And then our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grades are running our actual high school warm-ups now. So we're trying to get, if you will, I keep telling the math department, it's that easy. We're vertically aligned, right? But it's easier for us. What's really unique about what we have going on, I think the culture is shifting. We have over 300 student athletes now in our PC classes, our physical conditioning classes, which we're almost to 70% now. It's our highest enrollment, was 154 last year. So we're getting our numbers up, and we're doing some big things there. Some of the cool things we're seeing is in athletics, you need speed. And last year we had 1 kid that could run over 18 miles an hour, which is kind of the benchmark. As you can see this year, we have over 18, actually 19 counting today. And then we had no females that could run 15 miles an hour. And actually after today, that number goes up to 12. And it's because Coach Miller's been out. I think it's because I've been teaching class. But yes, we're increasing our speed. We're increasing our enrollment. We're increasing basically our aptitude in the whole strength and conditioning field here. It's really remarkable. Our strength is going up, and as you can see there, I don't know if you guys know what the power clean is, but that is the main thing that we care about in our weightlifting program, along with the front squat and back squat. But we've got 10 male athletes over 200 pounds and 16 over 100, which is pretty remarkable. In this should all be sent to you. We filmed our kids lifting so you guys can kind of see what goes on in a typical day in our weight room. And I would urge you all to watch that when you get a chance. And as that will be on the interweb, right? After tonight. We're going to talk football here. As you can see, I don't know if you had the chance to attend any games this year. It was a wild year, roller coaster. But we finished 4-6. We started 0-5, went on a 4-game win streak at the end there and lost a tough one in the sectional. 3-win improvement from last year. And these two guys helped lead themselves and our team. They won more games this year than they did their entire high school career, which is pretty remarkable because what our seniors had to do in adjusting to me, a different standard, a new offense, a new defense, totally different everything. And they fought through all the ups and downs. I thought Trent wanted to kill me quite a few times. And, and it's pretty great what we accomplished. 4-3 in conference, first winning record in conference since 2016. I'll never forget Trent's face when driving back from Richmond. And you just had this big smile and you said you'd never been on the other side of a running clock. I'll never forget that moment. That was cool. And Titus even smiled once or twice maybe. And we had 6 all-conference players. These two, for those that don't know, Trent led the conference in passing yards, total touchdowns, QBR, total yards, and there was one more thing I'm forgetting. But either way, he went from being dead last, hope you don't mind me mentioning this, but he was dead last in every category last year to first in those categories this year, which says a lot about him. Really wish I had one more year with him. I think we'd be celebrating a bigger scholarship, but I think he's going to get there anyways. Titus, a lot of fun. I got to make his highlight videos. He's getting recruited for college football. It's just 5 minutes of him mauling other humans. And that was a lot of fun. But we had these two. Then we had Joey Olam, who, if you came and watch the game, number 4, game breaker. And then we had 3 juniors, DeMarcus Cole, Leo Boyd, and Marvin McClinton, who all cannot be here due to basketball practices and track practices, which our basketball team's got a big game tomorrow. They have their team dinner tonight. Offensively, you can see all the stats here. I'm not going to spend too much time because I know we all want to get home, but we did some big things offensively. We finished 3rd in the conference in scoring after being last year. Scored 38 offensive touchdowns after scoring only 12 last year. The yardage and everything's up there, our all-purpose yards. We were kind of fun to watch at times. There were times when we weren't fun to watch too. Defensively, we didn't make the improvement we want, but that's the hardest thing to fix. And that's going to be one of the main focuses this offseason. What I do want to point out that I think is remarkable, and these guys will tell you all summer, we did tackling all summer, every day. Trent's like, why do I have to tackle, Coach? I'm the quarterback. Why do I have to tackle? Well, you threw a few interceptions, that's why. But we had 640 total tackles this year. Last year, as a team, we only had 420 tackles. And someone says, why is that a big issue? The main thing I see in that is our kids never gave up on a play. If a play broke, we were still pursuing. Our pursuit, which is the main thing in football, if you can block, tackle, pursuit, you can win games. These guys got it, and they went after it. Had a lot of good things there. And once again, this is all in your packet. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. My favorite stat there is at the end. We had 25 of our 53 players had a GPA of 3.0 or higher. I don't know what it was last year, but I do know that at the start of the season where we were to where we finished, that was pretty remarkable to me. I was very proud of them. We only had one player fail off. And this is actually one of my favorite stories is 2 kids quit before they could fail off. They spent the whole time. This kid knew he was going to fail off, did fail off, but stuck around. And one of our assistants that was here last year said that he's never seen a kid stick around after failing off. And to me, that says a lot about where we're going. And I'm very proud of that young man, and he's actually turning it around right now. So for those that don't know, I came from Centerville where we won the state championship for GPA last year, my previous job. And to go down to a 2.7 team GPA this year might seem tough on others, but I'm really proud of it. We finished with a cumulative 2.71 GPA on our team, and just next year the goal is 3.0, and we'll keep climbing until we get there. Some of the things we did do, there's some cool picture of these young men. There's a guy in the middle someone might know here, right? Don't have an action photo, Princeton? Come on. But Princeton and Trenton and Titus were all academic all-state as well, which to me is one of our highest honors that you can attain, meaning they had a 3.75 GPA or higher while in season. And then Titus and Joey made the Region 5 All-Star team, which makes them eligible for the North-South All-Star game coming up this summer. So we had a lot of good things going out there. And also I was recently named the director of Region 5, which means we have 10 regions in the state of Indiana. I'm on the board of directors now for the Indiana Football Coaches Association. So Muncie Central had kind of a nice little offseason and getting some recognition. As far as everything else goes, just to give everybody an idea of where we went, we completed our first summer of training, blew these guys' mind. I can't tell you how many times Trent called me, promised me he's on the way and he's running late. Waking up at 7 a.m. 4 days a week for 8 weeks over the summer. The kids pulled it off. We had 37 players a day, which I was told Muncie kids wouldn't do and couldn't do. Well, they did. We went and competed in 2 weightlifting competitions. We're actually hosting our own competition this coming Wednesday. If anyone's bored and wants to come see where our kids are at 5:30, we'll be over in the weight room. We've had 47 players qualify. They had to make 80% of off-season weightlifting workouts, and they have to have at least 80% attendance with tardies and what I would call an unexcused absence. Sometimes kids are in the school but not in the class. We don't accept that. So they had to reach those requirements. 47 of the 63 kids signed up to play football next year have hit that, so that'll be a lot of fun. Finished the season this year with 54 players. As you can see, we at one point had 72, and that's when Dr. K and I were talking a lot. And Brad knows, too, about the helmets. Minor meltdown at one point, but we fixed that. One of the best things we did, look, I rounded up on the GPA. We had grade checks every Thursday, and I think that was something big. Our kids had to take a physical piece of paper, hand it to their teacher writes down the grade and signs it. So there's accountability to that. And that's something that's very important to me. I could look up the grades. I could know exactly what they have, but it's making them be accountable for the grades. We had closeout meetings, and we did a lot with our equipment. And that's just kind of on there so you guys know what's going on in our program. But what I will say is I was amazed at how our community rallied to get these guys what they needed to play football competitively. We had a lot of antiquated equipment. We were behind the ball on what you need to get good at the fundamentals of football. And then we just had some basic things that these guys needed to play safely. And our community did a great job. Our administration was awesome. Our booster club was awesome. And the community came together and threw together money when we needed it. And people in this room really helped us out. And I can't tell you how much we appreciated that. And I hope we represented you well as a result of that. This whole offseason's been built on establishing culture, accountability, and discipline. We're doing that. It's not just a football thing. That's our goal in the weight room. We're trying to spread that to the hallways. And in fact, the entire high school. I think it will eventually happen. It's coming along. We've been doing a lot of grade checks. Being C are something I'm the most proud of so far in my coaching job I've done here. We were really struggling. It was week 5 after Lafayette Jeff when we met as a team, and we talked about we were averaging 31 unexcused absences a day, meaning a class. Not that they're not at school, but they're at school. Where are you? And kids were finding a way to just not be where they're supposed to be, and 23 tardies a day. By week 10, we dropped that to 17 and 10. We are currently at 10 and 3. 10 unexcused absences and 3 tardies. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And as a result of that, though, that's with some kids not being able to be a part of what we're doing anymore. But that's sadly how this has to be done. And some kids, it's brought some kids back. They were pushing me away because I was asking them to do something they didn't want to do, and they realized that we're doing what's best for them. And I think some really cool things are happening as a result of that. And we have 46 players with 90% attendance compared to 25 last year. So we're taking a step in the right direction there. You can see what's happening with the culture in the weight room. I think what's really neat is we're averaging 53 players a day. And as a team, we've logged now over 1,900 individual weight training sessions. So when you see our team next year, you're going to notice, that's going to hurt not having these 2 big guys on the field, but you're going to notice a physical difference in what we look like and how we play and the speed and what we can put out there on the field. And what's really cool is getting our middle schoolers involved too. And Coach Miller, our strength and conditioning coordinator, has done an incredible job with that, and he's just really good at getting those guys going. My main focus this offseason, football-wise, has been on revamping our John Frank Football League. I just met with their president before I came over here. We're going back to tackling in 3rd and 4th grade. Please tell anyone and everyone you know about this. It's very important to me that we do these things because our 3 goals of the off season for our John Frank League are to keep our Muncie kids in Muncie. They're not going to go play at Metro or Yorktown. They're going to play football in Muncie, and that's what we've got to really focus on. And to do that, we've got to start playing tackle football in 3rd and 4th grade. We need more practice time, which equals more reps, which equals a higher IQ. We've met and revamped the league. We're starting now in July 31st this year, but early August, as opposed to they would typically start after Labor Day. And to keep up with the Joneses, we can't do that. We got to start earlier. And then lastly, we're going to start running our offensive and defensive systems from the top down. Our middle school will be running our offense and defense, and our grade schools will also be running those things. And we've been doing professional development clinics with our youth coaches and our middle school coaches so that they have the education they need to run what we do. So when our kids come up through, they're going to know the same verbiage, nomenclature, and everything. They're going to have the same tackling drills, blocking drills. Everything's going to be the same all the way up. And then as I said, we're going to be holding coaching clinics at all levels. So if you know of anyone that would be a good mentor for our young men and is interested in coaching, we would like to get more people involved. We need coaches, especially now that we're going to tackle in the 3rd and 4th grade level. We anticipate having 2 or 3 more teams. So I wanted to get that out in front of the board tonight. That is something we will definitely be looking for. I'm interviewing the coaches and making those decisions on who joins. All right, and then lastly, if you do get the time, please watch our highlights here. You'll see Trent throwing a lot of bombs, Titus knocking a lot of guys on the ground. If you get a chance, watch that Delta clip there. This will be the last time they beat us. I don't know if anyone was at that game. They got lucky while we're figuring out things. I was really proud of how our boys fought and stayed in the game. I think that propelled us to where we ended the season at. And I can tell you Delta's nervous, and I can't wait to play them again first game next year. And if you get a chance, well, watch those 2 clips. We sound horrible. Half the kids don't know the words, but we are getting the school fight song back. That is something we're definitely going to bring back to not only football, but all sports. And I believe that's something that's very important to centralize who we are as Muncie Central Bearcats. That's something that's very important to me. So that's all I got for you guys tonight. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to come speak to you. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Please take the time to watch some of those clips on there.
Great job this year.
Okay.
I do want to comment on the John Frank Football League.
Yes.
Thank you for going back and putting some,
yeah.
because I worked with Coach Ho and Beth Beasley
Yes.
and Jeff Bird to establish that program. Where do they play and how do they fund themselves?
John Frank?
Yeah.
Well, they were playing, from what I understand, at the various parks around the city. I brought them over to the high school field this year. I want all of our future Bearcats playing on our field, so that's the field they want to play on under the lights. We put them under the lights a few times. With our new field coming in, they're going to play all their games over on the turf. It also gives our coaching staff and our players a chance to go over and be a part of what they're doing. And as far as funding goes, well, we're holding a golf outing in May if everyone would sign up.
Okay.
We definitely need to raise more money going to tackle football in 3rd and 4th grade, and our insurance is also going to go up. So that's something, I don't know, it's my job to have the good ideas. They're the board's job to find the money, right? But that's something we are fretting about. We're currently working on. In the past, we funded it via fundraisers and large donations. So it's something we're really going to be focusing on moving forward because we've got to start raising more money to do this.
Yeah. It's a great program. Thank you for doing that.
What about your, so with the new stadium and all that, like what are your practice field? Is that where you guys will use?
Yes. So we will actually, once the stadium is done, we will practice on that field from here on out. There might be times if I anticipate weather where we go practice on the grass. The great part about this is this now allows us, I'm bringing all the John Frank over to practice on our old practice field. And we could have 2 teams practicing at the same time, running the same offenses and defenses. We could be a part of it. With that being said, also, the junior high will be coming over and practicing with us all summer as well, so that their coaches get to mingle with our coaches and learn all the drills and things that we're doing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So glad you're here.
Yeah, I
Thanks for hiring
concur. I was just going to say, we're really glad you're here. Glad to see the direction that the program is going. I'm pretty excited. I'm not necessarily a football guy, you know, as you can see. But I love athletics, and I like the way that you've come in and set the trajectory of the program. It feels good to be a Bearcat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, thank you.
But hey, basketball's on the same path. We're all aligned over there with the culture's going that way, and it's really fun to watch right now.
Yep, yep.
Well, I enjoyed going to the games in the fall and just watching the students in the crowd and how excited they would be, and then watching how your team responded to you. It really was exciting to watch.
Thank you.
And I just know, I meet monthly with Delaware County superintendents, and so just keep beating all those other teams, and that makes my
We're on
meetings
it.
really enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. That's all we're thinking about. They're week 1 and 2. They're coming fast. And if I could, if we are, I'm sorry, are there any more questions? I would just like to, once again, I think one of the coolest things as a coach and as a community is when 2 people go off. They're going to be wearing those shirts around a college campus, representing us at the next level. And we could be more proud of 2 young men if we could give them one more round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great. All right, Mr. Moore is up. Longfellow.
Is this the clicker to use? No, is this the clicker? Okay. You guys know, first of all, good evening, everybody. I do apologize. I was supposed to present a couple weeks ago, but I got sick a little bit, and so my voice is still recovering from that. So please forgive me if it's a little raspy. So I'll go ahead and begin. We do have a program this evening. It's a Black History program. We have it at 6 o'clock. And so I do not want to miss that. I told them that I have this meeting. It's very important, but I do want to get back to that. So I'm not going to rush, but I am going to speak quickly. So if you don't, as you guys don't animate, you can't help yourself. And I'm a passionate man, as you guys know. I passed out blue cards. I want to make sure everybody has them, because this is something new, along with something that we're doing, and I'll talk a little about that when I get there. As you see, part of Longfellow, that theme that we do, we have a theme every year, and I really wanted to bring a theme to the community as we are reaching out. COVID is really hampered some of the things we've done, so we are now building back bridges. And what I mean by that is not only with our students, but with our family members, with our community, with each other. And that's very important for us. So again, the theme this year for us, building bridges. Anybody understand me? I know my voice is off a little bit. As you guys know, I went over this last year, but we continue with this vision. We start with this vision. Everything we do is based upon this vision. It's saddled in this vision. So anybody we bring on board, the first thing that I do is present this to them. And I have them read this. And I said, I just don't want you to read this. I want you to let this soak into you, because you need to understand what Longfellow is about, what we're trying to do, what we are doing with our students, with our kids. In their pursuit of wisdom, and it's the kids, the students of Longfellow Elementary School will discover, this is huge for us, something of value in themselves. In returning to society, our school provides a safe, aesthetically pleasing, functional environment conducive to learning and development of self-esteem. Our kids know this. It's in front of them. They see it. So we talk about this all the time. And this year, we did something a little different as we partnered with Whiteley. Whiteley, as you guys know, Longfellow, it resides in Whiteley District. They have been so helpful to us in the support. So we've added them with this year's theme to a vision, school, and community. And we just came with the theme, and we all have t-shirts on called "We Are Family." And we believe that. We truly believe that. Everything that we do, we are family. We're very honest with each other. We try to be as transparent as we can with each other for the betterment of our students. All right, here we go. This is what I wanted you to. I gave you the blue card. This was something different this year. Myself, Mrs. Long, who was our SAC, or Student Assistance Coordinator, and then our counselor, Mrs. Foster, as well as our master teacher, Faith Summer. Wonderful ladies. They said, Mr. Moore, how can we help? What else can we do? I said, we'll tell you something. We're going to do something that we've never done before. You know, we have data talks with students. I said, we're going to have vision talks. They need to understand about their own selves. It doesn't matter. They're not young, too young to understand thinking about the future. So we have what we call vision talks. And we sit down with each student. We started with 4th and 5th grade, but we sit down with each student and we pull this card out. And these cards, again, has our vision on here. We have them read the card. We tell them, I said, I want you to read this to me. And so they read it to me, And then we have them turn over to the back, if you can, with us. We sit down with them. And we take our time with them. And we have them go through being ready, responsible, respectful. They hear me say that every morning. That's one of our things. That there's a mantra for long term. Being ready, responsible, effective, and respectful. But here's where we come. I tell them, I said, you know what? We always telling you guys what to do. We want you to tell us what you see for yourselves. We want you to understand when you have this vision for yourself, you're going to work in this purpose. And so we have them talk about the goals they have, not only for right now, but for later on. And then they take this and they're cut. Every day they look at this. And we remind them of their vision card because we don't want them to forget how valuable they are and what they mean, not only to Longfellow, but the community at large. Because again, back to our vision, we want them to give something back to the community. So we told them, you guys come up. And anything, we have one student, and I almost don't, I get emotional. But he's a student who gets into a lot of trouble. Nobody would have ever thought this. I said, hey, young man, what do you want to do? He said, Mr. Moore, I love animals. I said, you do? I said, so what do you want to do? He said, I want to be. Nobody even, and everybody, because he comes from a broken home a little bit, and there's some things going on. He said, I want to be a marine biologist. I said, ooh, man, let's do that. So every day I see him, I call him MB. What's up, Mr. MB? So he understands, I don't want him to lose that vision of him being a marine biologist. So every day we have this conversation, and that's what he put on his vision card. So I refer that, I said, I want you, when he has a little trouble, I said, I want you to go look at your cousin. You said you want to be a marine biologist, so what do you need to do? So it helps him understand and keeps him focused on the day at heart, even when he's having some trouble. So that's what we do, and we've done this for 4th and 5th grade. We started the 3rd, but we'll have a vision talk with every student. Every year, this is what we're going to do. All right, so we move on to, I guess I'm going to go to the theme, bridges. Everybody knows what bridges, we try to cross them all the time. And I thought about a bridge, and I said, what really, when architectures come up with bridges, they use different geometric shapes. And the triangle was one. So they said triangles, and I came up with this. Triangles are very strong shapes, which makes them important when building strong and stable structures. I like that, stable structures. You may have heard people say that triangles are strong, but why so? When engineers build structures, they want to make sure, you listen to this, that the structure can bear weight. Not better bear weight. In other words, they do not want the structure to fall down when a force is applied to it. For example, bridges must be able to hold up the materials that make the bridge as well as all of the traffic traveling across it. One of the shapes that can bear weight very well is the triangle. So I had to come up, I'm not an engineer, you guys, but I make my own little bridge.
That's cool.
Longfellow colors, of course.
Yeah.
Follow the Yellow Brick Road. But seriously, as you look at it, triangles here, and I came up with this thought of, kids are traveling across back and forth in life, at home, at school, different things. And that's what I want to come back to here, because sometimes they're going to have to bear weight. There's a lot of things we as teachers, we as educators, we got to bear weight with them. And so I told them there's going to be forces coming to you. You're going to have to deal with some things. How do you deal with that? Well, we do it together. And once again, the triangle comes into play. And what we want to do is look at our families, our school, and our community. When we have this triangle set up like this, that is a structure that can bear weight. It's a structure that's strong. And so whatever comes its way, it'll be able to withstand. We've had a lot of things happen here. Monty, we've had a lot of things that happen with COVID. But again, this triangle, family, school, and community, we're strong. And daily, we preach, you guys, you know what? We come together, no matter what the case may be, you can do it. We're here with you. We're here together as a family with school, family, school, and community. And as you guys can see, Miley is tying into that. And there's other relationships that we develop with other sources as well. And I'll talk a little bit about that. We have what we call the Den. Mr. Brown, who's our family engagement coordinator, he works with this. This partnership through Ball State, he brings in other community members that sit and mentor our students. They come in and work with them, they talk about life with them. They do things with them to help them understand, again, they're part of that triangle, the community at large. So we bring them in, he helps bring them in, and the students love it. They always ask, when can we go to the Den? And it's set up for them, and our community members love it. They come in, they can't wait to see our kids, and our kids can't wait to see them. So this is something that we've started in the beginning, well, last year, and it's carried over to this year. And again, a great opportunity for our kids to partner with other adults outside of school. All right, so as we're moving forward, we're changing direction a little bit on how we're looking at things. Because as you guys know, we are always constantly looking to achieve, and I'm always asking, what more can we do to get things moving in the right direction? So we are starting to look at our data differently. Because I want to make sure that I told teachers, I said, you got to make sure you know who's in front of you. You know what's going on with this child. You know the programs that are attached to this child. So therefore, you can better be able to prepare for your class daily. So with that, we have Reading Futures. This is a new partnership that we've had. Matter of fact, the guy, his name is Dave. He came by this morning and he was working and looking at what's going on. But it's a program that really tailors to students who need a little bit more support. And what it does is it's individualized with teachers, and it's an online program for our first and second grade students. And we have, I believe, 8 first graders and then 10 second graders that it really works on it. So it's really building. You can see, I don't have the data with me today. I can send that to you, but they are moving up. So Reading Futures is helping tremendously with that. We have Reunited, which is a United Way initiative that comes in. They come in and they came in and get today every Tuesday. They can't wait to get in there, and they work with our third graders. And it's literacy focus. We have Ball State University, and we have our liaison, Dr. Stefanski, is working on writing with us. We're really holding her some writing. She's a writing guru, so she's been working. She's also part of our ILTs, our instructional leadership team. We get math support. Dr. Hong, who again is wanted to say, come to Longfellow and say, what can I do? She's a math guru herself, and she's coming on board to help support our teachers with math instruction. And then Dr. Brown, we have our Ed Reading 350. They work with our kindergarten students. They pull them out individually and work with them every Tuesday and Thursday. So they come Tuesdays and Thursdays to Longfellow. And then I'll talk about this here in a little bit. iReady and data boards. Individual student pathways for both ELA and math, and data boards used to track each student's progress throughout the year. I'll come back to that in a second. Reading intervention targets at risk, and that's what I'll tell you. First and second grade students whose tier 3 levels we focus on reading foundational skills, and we those kids are identified through testing assessment iReady that we do at the beginning of the year. You know, again, the whole goal is to get them up to speed, up to par at reading level. Math intervention, United Way initiative with think MP3. I think you guys know about what we do with MP3, but again, it's a K-3 initiative, and the families are very involved with that. They start in kindergarten, and then they move all the way up to 3rd grade with a graduation at the end of that. It's a daily 5 centerpiece that they do daily. They use Lexia. There's some social emotional learning piece that goes with that as well as long as moms too. They have reading programs with moms, and that's another agency that comes and works with us and our students. And then we have STEM. That is really extremely. I don't know if is this the newest one? I made some adjustments to what. Okay, that I put on because I had some other things that I wanted to. Okay, that I had on the other. And I'm sorry about that because we do have another initiative that I have with that we have with next week. We've been working hard. Next week is iRead 3. We start that, and we've had the luxury. We've actually had this we've had a lot of people over here, including our own Dr. Reynolds, Dr. Kwiatkowski, and Mr. Reynolds. I do have pictures, and that's why I was asking. I made some adjustments to that to put that in because they've come on different days. It was, I believe, Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, and the kids look forward to that. They work individually with these students, and we're hoping it's going to happen. Our kids will perform, but that, I do apologize, but that was in my updated one. I'm sorry.
Okay, I can add the updated one after.
Okay.
After tonight.
But we do appreciate everybody's help with that. Like I said, our restart next week, and our kids are ready. We've done a lot of great things. Like I said, we've had a lot of support to ensure that our kids are ready. So we look forward to that. We do something a little different. The Longfellow. Oh, before I do that, let me talk about our vision board. This is a little something different. And for those who do not know Faith Surf, she's an amazing master teacher. One of the best teachers I've ever met in my life. And I've been across the country teaching, and she's just amazing. So she said, Gary, what else can we do? And she came up with an idea. She said, you know what? We used to have data walls. People would come in, go into a room, look at the kids on there, yellow, green, red, and then they come in for a second. It's a beautiful place, on the walls with the names on there, and then the teachers are leaving up the end. Like, okay, well, we created this room for what? How do we do all this for if we're not really looking at the data? So we came up with something different. Data boards. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get through. But the data boards are a little something different. First of all, teachers are directly involved. They're putting the data on here. They're looking at the data. You can't really see it on here, but for instance, with a student A, there's things attached to the student. What's going on with this student? If you see here there's stars, that means this student's on grade level. And it helps me out too, because I can look at this data board and say, what's going on? Who's in the class already? I can see if these students are on grade level. We have different colors to coordinate, as we used to do with the data wall, but we pared it down along with other things that digs deeper with students and understanding them. So we've attached, okay, how did this student move from red to yellow? Well, the student, who's the teacher, and then also the students and future readers. So we know, the teachers know, there's programs attached to these students, there's different opportunities for these students, and then on top of that, we have what we call stretch goals and typical goals. I'm not going to go through all that with iReady. There's a lot of things that goes with that. But again, that too is on here. So teachers know, and they do this, they manipulate it. They've been here, all last week they've been working on this. Because we want them to be part of the data. We don't want them to forget about the data. These are your students. But here's the game changer. Here's where really happens. Usually, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get to know your student. You got to go through all the testing at the beginning of the year, find out who knows what type of behaviors. We said we're going to get ahead of that game. So at the beginning of the year, when teachers get their data boards, they're going to have this information about those kids already. Who's in their class? Now, we can't get every kid because some students come from us from different states, maybe a different school. But for the kids we do have end of the year testing, it goes right here. So teachers already know. I'll tell them, I need you to prepare for, here's your class roster. You already know you have this type of student in your class who's performed at this level. So I don't want you to forget about any of these students. A lot of times, students, we teach to the middle, but you teachers won't be able to do that anymore because I'll say, you know what, I need you got 6 kids on grade level. What are you going to do for those kids? Don't forget about them, because a lot of times we forget about those kids early on because we're teaching to the middle, trying to pull everybody up with our resources. Don't forget about your grade kids. Let's get them going too. Let's enrich them. So they know from jump who is in their classrooms, and again, they are manipulating this data. So these are what we call our data boards. We use them in PLCs. They bring them out, and again, teachers are responsible for this. So they make sure that they're looking at it. We do this. This is a new thing.
What are PLCs?
Say again.
What is PLC?
Professional learning community. Okay. Cluster is what that a lot of times is what it's known by. But every week, the master teacher meets with all the teachers and the classroom teachers in the building, really all the teachers. And there's different conversations that go on about what's going on in the classroom, different things, best practices that we work on, different things that need to be looked at. And again, that's where some of this is going in data boards. So PLCs happen in our building, happens every Tuesday. And Ms. Surf runs those. I come in, and sometimes I'll support that, but she runs those PLCs, and she does a magnificent job. So that's every Tuesday, and they leave with something. They have to go every time they have a meeting. They leave with something, and they have to come back and report to it. And there's a tier system involved with that. But part of our conversation, me and Ms. Surf, we start with our meetings, and then it moves to our what we call IoT, which is our instructional leadership team. consisting of 2 master teachers, myself, again, as I was telling you, Dr. Stefanski, and then she pushes a lot of information out to PLCs. So all this is all intertwined. There's nothing that's out there by itself. We want to make sure we're looking at everything as best as we can, because we don't want to forget about any student. Every student counts. We're doing something different too. Young authors. And I told Faith, I said, you got to get our right together. What else can we do? She said, Gary, I got something for you. I said, what do you have for me, Faith? She said, how about we work, as you guys were talking about building bridges, we pair our older students with our younger students in their writing. So that's what we've done. And we've had 2 young author exposés, and the kids love it. So we have our 5th graders paired with 2nd graders, 4th graders paired with 1st graders, our 3rd graders are paired with kindergarten, and then we have our 1st graders paired with preschool. Oh yeah, preschool's involved in this too. Because they can write, they can tell stories. And it's amazing. I'm going there and they're sharing these stories, they're talking to each other about their writing, and in advance they have different things they do. So they know when the young authors they come and share with each other. So the 5th graders, and I have pictures of this, and again, I'm sorry I didn't have this to you. But it's out there, but the kids love it. We've had 2 of them so far, and every time the young kids get, Mr. Moore, when do we have young authors again? They're looking for their author, their partner, their buddy. And I tell them, and the big kids love it too. We've had kids who have behavior issues, they square up, they get it together, but they know young authors are, oh, I gotta keep myself together, I got my young author like this. And I said, good job. You have stepped your game up because you know how important it is to be a leader for that young person you're in front of. So this is an opportunity. We can't wait to see how this continues as we move on with young authors. So we do this. We'll have another one right after testing, but the kids love it. Last one, we have a family engagement in Ball State University. Dr. Maria Finch, who is in the psychology department at Ball State, came to me and said, Mr. Moore, we want to help out. I do have pictures of this loaded up too. But she came and said, Mr. Moore, we want to help out and really give opportunity for families to understand play, but it's educational play. So they come in with our family nights, and what they've done is go throughout. There's different things that they do. One of the things that they do is teach families how to work with their children and understand their children through play. And it's research-based, and we've been doing this. I think this is our 3rd one. And again, it's generated a lot of opportunity for our families to get back involved and understand, because a lot of, as you guys know, all of us, a lot of us are parents, they come, we don't have instructions. I have my kids, I'm like, there was no instructions. What am I supposed to do? And it's always important for us to be able to give parents something to say, hey, let's try this. You may have not thought about this. And the kids may not understand, but you're playing and learning at the same time. So Dr. Finch has come in and given that opportunity for our parents and our students. And then we have what we call, if you come to our building, you'll see we have 2 ends of the building, our K2 and then our 3-5. And both of them they put this thing together called Worry Tree. So on these leaves, they talked about kindergartens too, talked about the things that they were worried about. And so when they come to the Worry Tree, it says, well, shake all your worries out. So you'll see them in front of the tree, just shaking the worries out. And they'll say, Mr. Moore, I'm worried about something. I said, go in front of the tree and shake it out. And it's set up, and this was all through the parent play, ball statement, family engagement piece, and we have them on both ends of the building. Because kids have voices too. We want them to understand what's going on with them. We want them to know this is a safe place. You can express yourself. If you're worried about something, it's okay. We're here to help you. Again, it's family. So they understand. We don't want you to be scared of anything. We want you to understand your love and your value. So daily they come in and they walk by those trees all the time. If they're worried about something, tell them, hey, it's okay. Shake it off. You're here. You're at home. So they know that. That concludes the presentation for this evening. Again, I do apologize. I had some other pictures uploaded. And again, we can get that to you, board, so you can kind of see some of the things that I'm speaking of. Again, Dr. Reynolds, Dr. Pipehouse, and Mrs. Brittle come in and help with our students, because that was very important. There's some other things I wanted that I showcased. So, any questions before I get? I don't know what time it's
5:44.
Oh, you told me, you said, all right, that alarm went off.
I was trying to help you get to the school quick.
Yes. Any questions?
No, but I love your idea about the tree. I need to put one of those in my office. So I think I'll do that. Yeah, just shake it off. Just shake it off. Yeah, shake it off, shake it off.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Good.
Excellent. If any of you all watch our broadcast of our church and you see me doing like that, you know what's up. Y'all getting on my nerves.
Well, I just always have to say, yeah, I'm in Gary's building often, and he is a fabulous building leader. He knows every single student. They admire him and look up to him. He encourages his teachers. When he talks about it's a feeling of a family. They support each other. They work together. He has a great support team in his office. And Faith, he's mentioned Faith several times. We've had our ETT, the Education Transformation Team for the 3 schools. Faith is our master teacher serving on that. Always has wonderful, great ideas. She is someone we all respect and look up to. And so we're really proud of what's happening at Longfellow. We're thrilled that we have that more family engagement happening again. I know Walisha Scaife has been very involved with Longfellow. And so we just really are looking forward to seeing kids continue to improve their academic performance, and we're proud of the work you're doing.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, don't you be speeding out there today.
No problem. But, I'll make sure.
All right, thank you. Ms. Charles is up. Grissom.
Now, let's see if you have the same energy after that, right?
That's a hard act to follow.
Good evening, Dr. Kwiatkowski, cabinet members, and members of the board. I have been the principal of Grissom for 5 years and am proud to speak with you tonight about the current initiatives and successes at Grissom this year. Grissom is home to 373 general education, 53 special education, and 38 preschool students. Our enrollment has remained consistent from year to year since I have been at Grissom. The Grissom school community is made up of dedicated teachers that work tirelessly to provide safe, academic-focused environments where all students can learn. Grissom houses the district's Applied Skills Special Education program along with 2 Level 3 rating Paths to Quality preschool classrooms. Since submitting this presentation, there are now 66 students on a transfer to Grissom. I believe that this number is reflective of families wanting their children to belong to an educational environment that is safe and learner-focused. This year, we have been hard at work defining the Grissom way in all that we do while keeping data at the forefront in all decisions. Placing our learners first continues to be the Grissom way. As a former primary teacher, I enjoy songs, chants, and acronyms to help students learn. Tonight, I want to highlight our successes by using the Grissom nickname, Astros. A is for attendance. By 6th grade, chronic absence becomes a leading indicator that a student may drop out of high school. Elementary school establishes foundational skills and practices that will help when students move on to middle school. We are now operating in a post-COVID world, and good school attendance has become a laser-like focus goal at Grissom. We have overhauled all things that have to do with attendance, from how our families drop their students off in the morning to developing policies, practices, and procedures to track attendance. We started out looking at attendance as a whole and gradually shifted our focus from the entire school to grade level to classrooms, individual students, and their families. The impact has been tremendous. Our rollout date was November 1st. Daily attendance percentages have increased from 87% to 90%, and the percentage of students tardy has been cut in half from 12% to 6%. S is for student support. Threaded throughout all levels of student support at Grissom is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Grissom is known to provide great social emotional learning support through groups run by our school counselor, Ms. Johnson, family navigator, Mr. Page, Dr. Hatfield, our school psychologist, and Ball State psych interns. At any given time, we can have up to 15 groups running simultaneously. These groups run on 3-week cycles. Data is collected from City Connect's whole class reviews and behavior data collections that are done within the classroom. This year, Ms. Cookie, our behavior coach, is tracking data from teacher, student, time, consequence, and we have started including families in our communications. Families engage in student reentry meetings where custom behavior contracts are created and signed. We feel this gives our families the seat at the table as all stakeholders are engaged in providing supports to our students. Our student support team meets bi-weekly to go over data collected and creates interventions for students in need. The Astro Room was created as a resource for students who need to reset, to go, and to continue working before returning to the classroom. Mr. Page, our family navigator, created a weekend backpack program as well as a family community engagement committee. We are invested in continuing to tap into our community partners and families to help implement Grissom initiatives. T is for teacher development. Teaching is hard. It is a constant learning curve. It is rewarding, frustrating, exciting, and challenging depending on the day and even the moment. Dedicated and passionate teachers can create a rich learning experience for students and unlock their potential to perform their very best. Our teachers love their work because they make a difference. Teachers need to feel supported. Our instructional leadership team and BSU liaison, Mrs. Denton, has increased time this year to teacher support. Teachers receive pop-ins in the form of modeling, observation and feedback, observing a highly effective teacher, or being given the support of creating lesson plans, interventions, or teacher resources. All teachers at Grissom receive a different level of support based on their need. Some receive daily support and others are on twice a month. There are pop-in forms completed, feedback from a member of our ILT, and then a post-pop-in form completed by the teacher. A conference occurs after the support between the teacher and master mentor teacher. Professional learning communities and professional development continues to be focused on reaching school goals this year. Our master teacher, Mrs. Jocelyn, and I also attend monthly standards-based lesson planning team meetings with grade levels. This helps ensure curriculum maps are followed with fidelity and activities are planned to teach the entire standard. R is for reading and math interventions. All classroom teachers at Grissom have 30 minutes within their schedule to provide interventions to students. This time has been maximized this year through intervention, Grissom Way expectations, data trackers, progress monitoring, the use of iReady standards mastery assessments, and we post all of that data in our professional learning community room. We feel that high priority students are receiving focused interventions within the classroom and data is collected to ensure students are making positive gains. O is opportunities for students. Grissom provides our families with many opportunities for their students outside of the classroom. Grissom Gold continues to provide our families with a free after-school literacy-focused program. Data from students that consistently attend the program show in combination with school efforts to be making academic gains. Dr. Hatfield is in his second year running the Grissom Leadership Basketball League. This program is free to all Grissom students and engages students in leadership skills while teaching the basics of basketball. Parent service coaches and the Saturday games provide an opportunity for our families to engage and build school community relationships. Elementary sports, student council, and band, for the first time this year, are all offered to our 4th and 5th grade students. Whole class reviews completed by Mr. Page indicated that our students wanted to learn how to cook. So, Mr. Page and our Ball State liaison, Mrs. Denton, run an after-school cooking club. We are teaching our students the importance of being engaged in the total school experience and know that after-school activities support social, emotional, cognitive, and academic development. S, support staff. What will we do without them? We are so appreciative of Dr. K and the board for adding additional instructional assistants at Grissom this year. We feel we have maximized their time to provide direct support in the form of academic interventions with all grade levels. An additional 4 students at each grade level now receive reading and math interventions using our instructional assistants. We have created a place for our instructional assistants to have a desk and to feel and be treated like the professionals that they are. They have been invaluable this year in supporting students with behaviors, subbing when needed, running intervention groups, and being of a great support to classroom teachers. Thank you for your continued support of the students, families, and staff and teachers of Grissom Elementary School.
Great.
Great. I have a quick question.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I don't know who can answer this, but Brittany, how does your 90% attendance rate compare to other elementaries? Is that kind of the...
So actually, it's so interesting. I just worked with the state today to make sure that we were looking at what rate they're
Right.
collecting compared to what we're showing. And Brittany is, so Longfellow has the best attendance at
Okay.
elementary. And then Brittany is right hovering in the middle. So
Okay.
we go anywhere from, 87% to 92%. So none of that is,
Oh,
ever since COVID, we've really decreased in attendance. So that's been a big area that we've been trying to hit.
so it's about plus or minus compared to Brittany's 2 percentage points. So you're right in
And
the
so
mix. Okay.
increasing that
Got
was a nice victory for
Nice job.
them,
Thank
and
you.
we'll keep working on it.
Yeah, good, thank you.
We're fortunate at the George and Francis Ball Foundation with their Cradle to Career. All the CAN groups recognize that if students aren't in school, that it's hard to be learning. And so attendance is something that we're tackling pre-K all the way up through our high school. And, as we hear from business leaders, everybody's working, Ball State, everybody is working on attendance.
Absolutely.
What about like parent engagement? Well, 2 things. One is, can you talk a little bit about how I'm on the social emotional learning CAN, and so Dr. Hatfield was talking about accountability with attendance, like tardies, and you guys do something cool outside to prevent like parents from dropping off late, like that cool little thing.
So I stand on Macedonia every morning, and parents have to turn right on Macedonia. So that keeps the flow of traffic moving much quicker. More kiddos get into the building faster. They can get breakfast and engage in work. Dr. Kwiatkowski's husband is our crossing guard, so he is out on Macedonia crossing large groups of students across, and then Mr. Page and my counselor stand on Macedonia to prevent students from being dropped off. Any staff member that does not have a classroom is outside in the morning. There are cones up, we have signs. Our parents are directed how to drop off in an efficient manner. So starting at 8 o'clock, you have to park and you have to bring your child in and you have to sign your child in being tardy. And then we have tiered that process. A tier 1 is a phone call. A tier 2 is a phone call from our student assistance coordinator, Mrs. Stone. When you get to tier 3 of tardies, you have to come in for a tardy conference, and we will follow up with you and keep following up with you until we get you to come in. And then we do the same thing with absences as well. So we really feel like educating parents has been the lever for us this year, that parents now understand that when my child is late, that 90-minute reading block starts right away, and here are my child's grades, and that's directly correlated to my master schedule. So we pull up grades in Power School, and then we show our parents the master schedule. And so especially the tardy percentage, I am thrilled with. Our teachers are as well, because they have students in class on time and they're not starting their 90-minute reading block and then getting interrupted multiple times with students that come in that, need to hand them their pass, get their things put away, and then we want to feed them. So, yes, it's been a total school effort, and everybody has bought in, but we've really engaged our families this year in that attendance piece.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. K.
Okay. Three presentations. That's what happens when you have one that had to reschedule. But boy, I hope that you see how hard our schools are working, and we want good things for our students. So speaking of good things for students, I wanted to share that there was our store scholar is Nora Quirk. And so Allison's here tonight. Nora was here earlier, but then she had to leave. So we're really proud of Nora. She's done wonderful work. So congratulations. We also have an all-conference girls basketball player, and that is Gabby Douglas. Proud of her. You heard earlier, Wednesday is our boys basketball sectional, so we're excited for them to begin that process. We really have seen a difference in athletics at the high school this year, and we know it's moving in the right direction, and we'll continue to get better. Chuck?
If you get an opportunity to head over to the field house, so we've been, thanks to the Ball Brothers Foundation, we've been working on branding and some of our facelifts in the field house, the west entrance, which is the entrance being used the most now with the construction of the football stadium. There's some new champion pictures and trophy cases. It looks outstanding. So if you get an opportunity coming up this week, do that.
Well, thanks for overseeing all that too, Chuck. So Wednesday night, I have personally a grandson's baptism. And so I said, you guys have to win so I can be there Friday night. So I hate that happens, but that's life sometimes, right? What do you do?
Baptism is important.
Baptism is important.
I'm just saying.
They didn't ask me what night, and so that just happens. Right now, we have our high ability kindergarten testing going on. So we're one of the few districts that run a K through 12 high ability program. And so if you know of anybody that is interested to see if their child would qualify, we're working with all the local daycares and trying to get information out. And so they can call Chuck, and he's overseeing our high ability program. I also wanted to give out a shout out to Dia and John D. from Ball State University have been working on a substitute academy. So that's been another challenge. We've have not as many substitutes as we used to have in the past. And so, you have teachers out and no substitutes. That changes the dynamic of our schools. So Dia and John D. put their heads together, created this substitute academy, and they'll be running it 4 times within the next couple months for Ball State students, and that way we can get them subbing in our schools. And then Dia is going to start that out again in August at the beginning of the year. So we hope we get more substitutes. And then I just wanted you to mark your calendars. College and Career Expo, Caleb and Rhonda have worked on that, and it will be held at the high school April 13th. And then Celebrate Excellence will be taking place May 11th. So some great things coming up.
Quick question about substitute. We increased the pay.
We did increase the pay.
Are you having trouble in certain subject matters, or?
No.
No, it's just over, it's
substitutes in general.
in general. Just
And
not
so,
there.
we've had to put some measures in place. We really don't have professional development during the day where people leave and we have to get a sub. Because, we used to be at about a 85 to 90% fill rate, and now we hover between a 65 to 80% fill rate. And so that means, you know, our schools are then having to tap other people to be in the classrooms. Sometimes principals go in and they're in those classrooms. And so that's, we're not alone with that. I was talking to the Marion County superintendents, and they are consistently at a 50% fill rate.
Wow.
So I commend
We need more
our
teachers.
DIA and our group for trying to keep it at where we are, but we're always trying to find ways to bring in more subs. That's it for me.
Is that all? Any questions for Dr. K? All right, do we have any public comments tonight?
No public
No?
comments.
All right. All right, let's move to the consent agenda. I assume everybody's had a chance to take a look at that. Any questions or comments?
So point out our assistant principal that's coming on board tomorrow.
Yes, Ms. Shawn Davis is going to be returning to Big Time Muncie. And we're looking forward to her getting here and being an assistant principal at Southview. And it's going to be great.
Yay.
Right, yay. All right.
I'd move to approve.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Mr. Jerome.
Thank you. Presented in your board packet, we had an opportunity for a contract called RX Protect for our list of our 24 highest prescriptions. This would allow our employees to not have to pay for these if we enroll in this program. So therefore, it's no cost to the employees. If we did this, or we wanted to enroll in this program and try it out and see if we could save our employees some money. The projected savings last year was a little over $116,000 if we utilized the same prescriptions for those 24 medications. So it's an opportunity for some savings for the district as well as the employees. So we're just asking permission to approve that tonight.
That's great. Any questions for Mr. Jerome?
Move approval.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item I had, I'm speaking on behalf of Mr. Steve Spradlin. He has the opportunity, would like to advertise for permission to replace display boards or interactive display boards at Muncie Central High School. So this would be a purchase over $50,000. So we're making our advertisement for these items, asking the board for that permission tonight, and then go through the legal process of receiving bids, evaluating those bids, and then bringing bids back to the school board to approve, it looks like in the month of April. So asking for permission for this project for replacement of display boards tonight.
So is it truly replacement, Brad, or you're adding?
We would be replacing.
You are replacing?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thanks.
Most of what they have now are the LCD projectors
Yeah.
that are at the end of their lifespan.
Wow.
And I really have to give Steve so much credit. He has gone through and found lots of cost savings with the IT department. And then he's worked out plans for a systematic way of doing refresh for devices as well as for things such as display boards. And he does a good job of getting feedback from teachers with his ideas. And so I just have really been very pleased with the work he's doing.
And I would assume that you enhance the quality, that'll force the students to be more focused. They're enlightened. Yeah, okay. Well, we hope. Yeah.
So, something when we did process checks at the high school, we talked about this morning in our meeting. Eventually, some of the blinds in the classrooms are also very old and missing, and so this will help be able to display and see better, but we're also going to start looking at how we can enhance some of the areas within our schools, with things such as that as well.
Cool. I move for approval.
It's been moved. Have a second? It's moved and second. Mrs. Barnes Griffin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, moving on. Do we have any dialogue from the board Any other discussion that we need to address? Any media here today? No media? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
It's moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign.
Okay, good stuff.
All right, we are adjourned. All right.
The open house receptions.
Thank
I
you.
was going up now.
All right.
I had told him, of course, we have a meeting, like, might come to us. Oh, yeah.